Welcome back to another edition of Mixtapes and Mistakes. This time we're actually doing not a good cover or a bad cover. It's actually kind of a mid-level cover. It's actually one of my favorite songs. I can't believe I hadn't gotten around to doing this cover version on this channel. So I'm I wouldn't say a huge, well, I'm a large Ani DiFranco fan. And that's not even a cover, so, well, it is a cover. Ani DiFranco's version of 32 Flavors is one of my favorite songs. The Alana Davis version of that song is a song we're going to discuss tonight, here on the channel. So, the interesting thing about Alana Davis's cover of 32 Flavors, it's first released as a single on her debut album, Blame It On Me. It's the B-side, Lullaby, which is also on that record, is the B-side to this song. And it's a hit. The reason it got on the record was that when she first submitted the album to Elektra Records, they were like, oh, okay, well, where's the single? So they were like, hey, why don't you cover this song? And her quote is, quoting, Ani DiFranco is very much her own songwriter. I think that her songs, as being very specific to her ideas and stuff, at first I wasn't sure about taking her ideas and trying to make them my own and reinterpreting them. But I started to play around with the song. I took out the parts I wasn't comfortable with and put ideas of my own, and I sent her a copy, and she said she loved it. Unquote. Now, Ani DiFranco has actually in fact stated that she found Davis's lyrical adjustments hard to swallow, quote unquote. But she's kind of unprotective about her compositions. To quote Ani, she says, the song's as children analogy works for me in that you have to learn to let them go, unquote. This song is hard to do kind of a hot take on because there's not really I think there's enough energy in the situation for the hot take itself. So to break down the song a little bit, Alana Davis's song is really kind of upbeat as compared to Ani DiFranco's version. Alana talks about how she performed the drums herself. Let me look at this real quick so I can kind of get a little way back on it. Because she never feels like it's technically a cover. In 2000, I'm reading from Wikipedia, I'm using Wikipedia because I'm not doing a paper. So in 2005, Davis stated, quote, I wrote parts of that song, but that I never took credit for. The chorus, she says, doesn't exist in the original recording, which is true. And so she said she put her own lyrics and musical sensibility in it, as she does any cover. I wrote the bass line and programmed the drums, so when I perform that song, or when you listen to the album version, you're listening to a hybrid of the original. She said, I don't think you can hear my version and feel like you're listening to Ani's song anymore. You have to listen to her recording to get her vibe, and hers is a different animal, quote unquote. The challenge of doing this series, both the bad cover series, and it's one reason I want to talk about this song, is that the struggle when covering a song has always been making it accessible, where fans of the old song, of the original song, know that you as an artist are doing it, and there's enough of the song to draw people in, but then enough of the song where you're putting your spin on it. One of the things I was working on today that I was kind of stunned by, actually, to give you an example of what I'm talking about. I'm working on this Tina Turner playlist that's going to go on this channel. There's going to be associated commentary with it, and that's coming in honor of the documentary that happened that I watched today. And Tina does a cover of the Rolling Stones' Help. In the documentary, they cut footage of a live version of her doing it. And as I said in the 311 episode, that sometimes it is artist meeting song, and sometimes it's artist in context meeting song, which is what the Tina Turner covering Help is. When you listen to her, that footage on the documentary, in the context of the documentary and what they're talking about in her life, listening to it as an adult, it feels like that she's literally on stage night after night singing that song, crying for help, like literally begging for help. And it's a very slowed down version. It's kind of gut wrenching. I say all that to say that when Alana Davis put together this song, there are, yes, noticeable lyric choices made. And at the time she released it, it was kind of a breath of fresh air. A lot of things on the radio, from not just in the radio, but in the female singer-songwriter scene, were kind of super serious. And it felt like that single, when I remember hearing it initially, felt like the start of something. And I never understood why Alana Davis didn't become kind of a bigger deal in music. But I think I know why. And it has nothing to do with the song. What happened was, because that song comes out at the end of the middle of '98, and it felt like around the end of that summer, something kind of shifted. Not just the mood of the country and everything like that, but it felt like music kind of shifted in a way. And because there were a lot of things that were kind of at the end at that time. I really need to do like a music history section of my other channel, because when I ended up talking about that, what felt like was happening at the time, first of all, kind of the arena thing was at an end. Arena country, the little tour was over. So it felt like the Alana Davis has really kind of ended up kind of out of place. She's released 3 records, all told. All the records are very good. She has a great vibe, and I like the looseness of this song. I like kind of it's almost like hip hop jazz. Like it's got that kind of feel to it. I like it, but I get why the original artist was kind of upset about it. This is actually the first one of these I've covered where the original artist actually commented on the cover version. I feel like just reading the comments and seeing some discussion of it, I feel like Ani's kind of ambivalent about it. She's like, well, you covered this song. And that's probably the politest thing she probably ever even say about it. It's not a bad cover, but it's usually a cover song happens where you might arrange the song differently, and you might even tweak it or modify it, but you try to leave most of what the original artist did in the song. As a completely other mirror example, when Prince gave Shaka Khan "I Feel For You," there was a complete rearrangement of the song, but lyrically, for example, the songs are virtually the same. He pretty much like, hear this song, make money with it. So it's very interesting, and that's also a different deal between these two situations, where one artist is really behind making that cover work, and Ani DeFranco in this case is kind of like, meh. So, but the links to both these songs, which I should have been doing the whole time I'm doing it now, are going to be in the description box of this video. Let me know what you think. Next up, in probably like the next 20-30 minutes, probably going to get the Tina Turner playlist out and get the commentary on that. The cool thing about that is there's a couple of great duets in her setup and in her greatest hits songs, stuff like that. You'll see it. Because there's a Bowie duet, there's Bryan Adams duet. You already know what I'm talking about, so it's fun. So, with that being said, feel free to like, share, and subscribe on the channel. Get the people who come up with it. If you know any other cover songs I should probably talk about, hit me up. Thanks.